Hello everyone, I am Anis. Welcome back to my YouTube channel or welcome to my YouTube channel. If you all are new here and if you are new, you guys should definitely subscribe. Yeah, you should do that. And press the ringing bell beside subscribe. Okay, let's go to the demo of the application which we are going to make in this video. This is an advanced master detail CRUD application. In this video, we are going to develop a module to manage the purchase orders. As you know very well, I am using Visual Studio 2022 as the development tool and ASP.NET Core with MVC as the platform. Let's see the create action in the 32x speed first. We will enter all the required fields and press the create button to create the purchase order. Let's click the create button. Wow, the purchase order is saved successfully, and that's a beautiful alert giving us an information notice. This is nice, isn't it? Okay, let's see all the features of this module and we will see how it is created one by one. In case if you guys are joining only now, this is the inventory application we are doing for quite some time, and this is the home page of the application. So let's log in. Enter username as tester and enter the password of the tester and press the login button. After that, let's click the transactions menu and click the purchase order menu to load the purchase order listing screen. This is the listing screen of the purchase order. This screen is full featured with options like search, sort and pagination bars. Now let's click the create button to load the purchase order creation screen. This is the purchase order creation screen. Notice the P1 number field is read only and it automatically gives the P1 number sequentially from the database, and this P1 number is unique. Next, the supplier selection box. In this box, I have loaded all the suppliers from the suppliers table so that user can select instead of entering the supplier code. And then this field is the PO currency field. In here I have loaded all the currencies from the currency table. As of now only 3 currencies are added and the AED is the default currency. Then the quotation number field is the unique one, and in here we should enter the quotation number received from the supplier. Next we will select the quotation date because all quotations comes with the validity period, so date is a must entry. After that, let's enter the product name in the product code field. Notice this suggests the products as per the search keyword. Let's select the green shirt and press enter. Notice automatically the description and the product code are picked and populated to the respective text boxes. Then enter the quantity in the quantity text box. Let's enter 50. After that, enter the FOB as 25. FOB means free on board. Notice as soon as we enter the FOB, then the converted price in AED is displayed in the price text box, and this price field is read only. So the user only can enter the FOB. It will calculate the price based on the exchange rate we provide in the currency conversion table. But here now price and FOB are same, and because we have chosen AED as the PO currency and the exchange rate is 1. Then after, notice the line item total is calculated and displayed to line item total field. After that, the quantity total summary is displayed in the total quantity field, and the total amount is calculated and displayed in the value total summary field. Then let's add one more row. Actually, this is a dynamic grid which is completely created by me without using any third-party components. Because I hate third-party components and it does not take much time to create of our own, and I love to create everything myself, and I only go to the Google for ideas. Google is an excellent idea provider. In this row, add item name as black shirt. Just type BL, that's enough. It will list all items which contains the letter BL in it. Then enter quantity as 100. After that, enter FOB as 55. Then after, press add one more time to add one more row. And in here, enter Dettol floor as an item name. And enter quantity as 25. Notice after inserting the product code, the corresponding unit name is loaded to the unit text box automatically. Actually, this is not easy because I did this without using the Ajax. But how is it possible without using Ajax? Let's see it during the development. And then enter price as 12. After that, click add button again. Notice the grid started scrolling. Yes, this is a scrollable grid with summary totals. Very nice, isn't it? Then enter item description as Fanta small. Notice the grid scroll to accommodate the search list box without disturbing other controls outside of the grid. Then enter quantity as 50 and enter FOB as 15. Notice the totals are calculated and displayed in the respective places automatically. See, now we have 4 items in the grid and the grid is completely scrollable. You can add as many as rows as you wish. Let's click the create button to save the purchase order. Wow, the purchase order is saved with giving a beautiful bootstrap information alert message. This is very nice, isn't it? I like it very much. In case if you also like, then I have a separate tutorial on how to create bootstrap information and error message alerts. I will keep the video link in the description, so please watch that on how to create alerts. Notice in the listing screen, the record is saved successfully, but I actually forgot to set the currency as INR. So let's edit the purchase order to change the currency to INR. So open the purchase order which we just created in the edit screen. And in here, change the PO currency to INR from AED. Notice as soon as I change the currency to INR, the exchange rate field got changed to 0.0470, which is the conversion rate from INR to AED. That means 1 INR is equals to 0.0470 AED. After that, notice the price field in the detail grid also got changed. This is because the exchange rate is applied to the price field. So now the price equals to FOB multiplied by the exchange rate. Now let's change the price of the Dettol to 15 rupees because the conversion is going to multiple decimals when we put 12 as the FOB. Maybe we will fix this later. Okay, all set now. Let's press the edit button. Wow, the purchase order is modified fine. So edit is also working fine. Next, let's see the details view of the purchase order. So click the details icon to open the purchase order in the detail screen. This is the detail screen of the purchase order, and here all the controls are read only because we don't need to change anything here and we must not change anything in the details view. So the details view is also looking very nice, isn't it? Then let's press the edit button to check the flow whether the edit action is working when we navigate to edit screen from here. Okay, now the purchase order is loaded in the edit screen. Let's change the quotation date to 10th June. Of course, we need to do some changes before saving. Then press the edit button. Perfect. Edit action is working fine even when it is navigated from the details view. So the flow of actions are happening properly. Again, let's open the same record to see the changes we made. Notice the quotation date is changed to 10th June. So our changes got saved properly. Next, we will see the delete screen. So click the delete icon to load the delete screen. This is the delete screen of the purchase order. This is almost identical to the detail screen. The only difference is it has the delete button instead of the edit button. Let's press the delete button to delete the purchase order. Yes, the record is deleted successfully. So all the CRUD actions are working fine. Let's see how it is done now. Actually, this is the part 3 of the purchase order module. In case if you have not watched the part 1 and part 2, I request you to watch it first, and the video link is in the description. But complete source code is shared with this video. First, download the source code and configure the database. After that, you can continue the development. But if you need the explanation, then you must watch the part 1 and part 2. Please find the source code URL displayed in the screen. But to use the source code, you need to watch the video at least for next 20 minutes. Then only you will be able to configure the project properly. Okay, let's start. After downloading the source code, extract the source code zip file. Then we must restore the database first. So to restore the database, open the folder named purchase order, and from there search for the file named purchaseorder.bak. This is the database backup file, and it is very important to proceed further. After that, open the SQL Server Management Studio. Actually, Microsoft has made SQL Server Studio as free. So if you don't have, then please download and install the SQL Server Management Studio first. And then right click the database folder icon. After that, select device option button. And then click the add button and locate the purchase order folder from your machine. In my machine, I have extracted the zip file in the C drive. Then this step is very important because you need to select the correct file to restore the database properly. So please select file named purchaseorder.bak. This is the database file taken from my machine. And then click OK button. And then in this screen also click the OK button. Now the database is restored successfully. Select the database named CODES inventory and then expand the tables collection and make sure the PO header table and PO details table exists in the CODES inventory database, because these two tables are very important to proceed further. After that, select the inventory beginners project file and open it with Visual Studio 2022. Please wait, it may take some good time to load the project and to install the required NuGet packages. After that, expand the views folder and there create a folder named purchase order. Then expand the views folder and right click the purchase order folder. Then click add and select view and select the razor view empty. And leave the file name as index.cshtml and click the add button. Now open the source code directory. Actually, this time I am trying to teach you in a different way. I mean, I will give the complete source code as text files. You can copy and paste the source code from the text files while watching the video. By this way, we can create a win-win situation. Since you are only copying and pasting the codes, the success rate is very high, and I can assure you anyone can complete this project without errors if they follow the video without skipping. But please put comments and like the video. Okay, let's go to the program. Open the source code directory and select the first file, I mean 1.txt, and open it. This file contains the code for the purchase order interface. In here, select all the code and copy it to the clipboard by pressing the Ctrl+A and Ctrl+C keys. After that, right-click the interfaces folder and select the pop-up menu named Add, and then click the submenu named New Item. Then in the New Item Types prompting window, select the second item type named as Interface. After that, change the name of the interface to iPurchaseOrder. Please note the interface name and interface file name should always start with the letter I mean the capital letter I. It is a best practice, so let's follow it. Then click the Add button to scaffold the empty interface file. After that, delete the scaffolded code from the purchase order interface file. And now paste the code from the 1.txt file. This file is in the source code folder. We have already copied this to the clipboard. In case if you have not copied, no issues. Open the 1.txt file from the source code folder and copy and paste it here. Next, we need to create the repository file for the purchase order interface. So select and right click the repositories folder and then select the add menu. After that, click the new item submenu and in here select the class as item type. Then give the name for the class file as purchaseorderrepo.cs file. After that, click the add button to scaffold the purchase order repository file. Then select and delete the scaffolded code from the purchase order repository file. Now open the 2.txt file from the source code folder. Then press Ctrl+A key to select all the code from the 2.txt file and press Ctrl+C key to copy all the code to the clipboard. After that, go back to the purchaseorderrepo.cs file and in here paste the code from the clipboard and save the project. Now we have completed purchase order interface and purchase order repository. In case if you want the explanation, I would recommend you to watch the previous part. The video link is in the description. Since many of you were asking for the source code in that part, I came up with this idea so that you don't encounter errors. Hello all, making YouTube video takes lot of time and efforts. But all these efforts should have a meaning. So please like, comment and share this video. Thanks a lot. Let's continue to the tutorial. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon to get notified. Next, we need to map the purchase order repository to the purchase order interface. To do this, first open the 3.txt file from the source code folder. After that, select all codes from the 3.txt file and copy it to the clipboard by pressing Ctrl+A followed by the Ctrl+C. Then go back to the project and open the program.cs file. And in here, paste the copied code from the 3.txt file. Next, we need to create the purchase order controller. So select the controllers folder and right click on it. After that, click add and select controller from the submenu. And in here, select the first choice. I mean, select the MVC controller empty. And then press the add button. Then in here, change the file name of the controller to purchaseordercontroller.cs. And now press the add button to start the scaffolding task. Then select the scaffolded code of the controller and delete it. We don't need this code. After that, open the file named 4.txt from the source code directory. This file has the complete code for the purchase order controller. Next, press the Ctrl+A key to select all code of the 4.txt file and then press the Ctrl+C button to copy all the code to the clipboard. After copying it to the clipboard, open the purchase order controller.cs file and paste the code here and then save the project. Okay, now we are done with the purchase order controller. So go to the views folder and expand the purchase order subfolder from there. After that, open the index.cshtml file from there. Presently, this file is empty. We will copy the code for this file from our source code directory. Now go to the source code directory and open the 5.txt file from there. This file has the code for the index.cshtml. After opening the file, copy all code of the file to the clipboard. This we do by pressing the Ctrl+A followed by the Ctrl+C. And now open the index.cshtml from the purchase order folder and paste the code from the clipboard to here. Then save the project. Next, we need to add the menu link for the purchase order module. So select and expand the shared folder inside the views folder. After expanding the shared folder, select and open the _layout.cshtml. Then close the Solution Explorer window to have an complete view. In here, locate the Transactions menu. After that, go to the source code directory. From the source code directory, open the 6.txt file. After that, copy all code from the 6.txt file by pressing the Ctrl+A followed by Ctrl+C. Then go back to the layout.cshtml of our project. In here, paste the code from the clipboard and align it properly. Please make sure you are pasting the code inside the transactions list item menu code. Then save and run the application. In the home page of the application, click Login menu. I hope you got same results as me. If you don't get this login page, then you might have skipped or missed some steps. So please watch again. And then in the login screen, enter tester as the login ID and 123@test as the login password. The credentials are shown on the screen. Then select the Remember Me checkbox and press the login button to complete the login process. Now test the application by clicking the Units menu. Yes, it is working fine for me. Then let's click the Category menu. Yes, this is also loading properly. So application is working fine. Now let's click the Transaction menu and from there click the Purchase Order menu. Wow, purchase order listing screen is also loaded properly. But the sorting and searching fields are missing. No worries, we will add those soon. And next, we will create the view file for the create action. So select and right click the purchase order folder and then select the add menu and click the view submenu. In here, select the item type as razor view empty and click the add button. After that, change the file name to create.cshtml. And then press add and wait for the scaffolding task to complete. Now go to the source code folder and open the 7.txt file. This file has the source code for the create.cshtml. And in here, press Ctrl+A to select all the code and press Ctrl+C to copy all the code. After that, come back to the create.cshtml. Presently, this file is empty. Then paste the code of the 7.txt file from the clipboard to here. And then build and run the application. Now click the transactions menu and select the purchase order menu. Wow, the purchase order listing screen is loaded properly. Of course, this is not the screen we saw in the demo, but no worries, we will improve and will match with the demo screen. Okay, now click the create new link. Wow, the purchase order creation screen is loaded and it is looking very good. But when we click the add button, the rows are not added and delete button is also not working. But no worries, we will write the required JavaScript functions to make it work soon. Then in the header section, let's check all the select boxes. Perfect, all the select boxes are filled properly. But when we select the purchase order currency, the corresponding exchange rate is not filled in the exchange rate text box. This is also because of the JavaScript. So we will add this script also soon. Now it's time to write the JavaScript functions. So go to the source code folder and open the 8.txt file from there. Then copy all code from the 8.txt to the clipboard by pressing the control button plus A followed by the control button plus C. And then go back to the project and open the create.cshtml from the purchase order folder. In here, scroll down to the bottom of the file, I mean to the script section. After that, add the HTML script tag to the script section. And then paste the code which we copied from the 8.txt file to the script section between the HTML script blocks. Then rename the method named 8 to add item with a parameter named btn. This is very important, so please watch it carefully and make sure you type it without the spelling mistake, and also note that it's case sensitive. Then build and run the application. After that, log in and then click the purchase order menu and then click the create new link. Now let's press the add button from the grid. Perfect. Now the rows are getting added. So our add button is working fine. Now let's select a product from the product selection list box and move to the FOB text box without entering any value for the quantity. Notice the client-side validation rule is fired and showing the error under the quantity and FOB text box. This time let's do the same to the second and third row. But notice the validation errors are not fired for the second and third row. This is because the client-side validation for ASP.NET Core MVC are written using the jQuery. The biggest problem of jQuery is it will not record the controls added dynamically by JavaScript. So to fix this issue, we need to explicitly add these controls to the jQuery list. So first stop the project. Then open the source code folder in the Windows Explorer. After that, open the 9.txt file. Now copy all code from the 9.txt file to the clipboard. Then open the create.cshtml and scroll down to the bottom of the file. After that, below the add item function, paste the code from the clipboard. Then rename the method 9 to rebind validators. To avoid the spelling mistakes, I am copying this method name from the last line of the add item method. And then save and run the application. Now the application is loaded and we are on the purchase order creation screen. Let's add few rows first. And then let's check the first row. Yes, the validations are working fine for the first row. Then after, we will check validations for the second row. Wow, now the validations are working fine for the second row also. After that, let's check the validations for the third row. Also it is working fine. So far so good. the project is coming as per our expectation. Let's continue the development. Now let's add the JavaScript function for the delete item method. To do that, go to the source code folder and open the 10.txt file from there. After that, select all code from the 10.txt file to the clipboard and paste the code from the clipboard to script section of the create.cshtml. And then rename the method name to delete item. After that, go back to the source code folder and there open the 11.txt file. And then copy all code from the 11.txt file to the clipboard. After that, open the create.cshtml from the project and scroll up to find the input text control for the unit name. And then paste the code from the clipboard to the line below the input control of the unit name. And next, build and run the application. Now let's add few rows to the detail grid. And then let's try deleting the rows. Perfect, the rows are now getting deleted without any errors. So now we have almost done most of the things of the purchase order creation module. But still a lot of things to do. So let's continue the development.
Next, go to the source code folder and open the 12.txt from there. And then copy all code from the 12.txt file. After that, open the create.cshtml file from the purchase order folder. In here, scroll up to locate the form tag. And then, below the first div inside the form tag, paste the code from the clipboard. So now, the pasted div will be the second div. Please do it correctly as shown in the video. After that, scroll down to locate the button controls div. In here, add the closure div tag to close the div which we opened just below the form tag. Then, go to the source code folder. Open the 13.txt file. Oh, this file is having only the close div tag. This we already done. So leave this file. After that, open the 14.txt file and copy all the code from the 14.txt file. Now, go back to the create.cshtml file and paste the copied code just above the btn control div as shown in the video.
Please watch it carefully. This code is very important. This code must be pasted between the text controls div and button controls div. This div has all the hidden controls and the bootstrap class called -1. Now let's check the output. To check the output, we must build and run the application. So let's run it. Okay, the output has come very well. Now we will add the required JavaScript functions and the CSS classes to make the detail grid as a scrollable grid with the grand totals. To do that, first stop the application and then go to the source code folder and open the 15.txt file. In here, select and copy all the code from the 16.txt file by pressing the Ctrl+A followed by the Ctrl+C keys. After that, go to the project and open the site.css file from the CSS folder which is inside the www root folder. And then scroll to the bottom of the site.css file. Now paste the copied code from the clipboard. After that, go back to the create.cshtml file of the purchase order folder and scroll up to locate the detail grids table header. And in here add the codes table class name to the CSS class attribute of the detail table tag. Then save and run the application to verify the output. Perfect. Now the vertical scroll bar is attached to the detail table and it is working fine. Let's try scrolling the grid. Yes, we are able to scroll the grid. So far our project is going in the same way as we expected. Very nice, no? Then stop the application and remove the ML-5 from the parent div of the table. Actually, I had faced some issues while scrolling up the grid. Upon checking, I found this ML-5 class was creating the issue, so I removed it. After removing this, the scroll bars are working fine. Okay, let's stop the application and continue the development. Now we will write code to add the grand total. So go back to the source code folder and open the 16.txt file. Then copy all the code from the 16.txt file by pressing the Ctrl+A followed by Ctrl+C. After that, go back to the create.cshtml file and scroll up to locate the PO details table. And then below the detail table, copy the grid summary table from the clipboard. Make sure both the tables are placed inside the same div as shown in the video. Please notice the detail table and summary table are having the same number of columns. This is very important to create the summary totals for the grid. The summary table and the button controls are sticked together. So to separate the buttons and summary table, we will add empty lines. To do that, first go back to the source code folder and then open the 17.txt file. After that, copy all code from the 17.txt file to the clipboard and then paste the code above the button controls div. Let's build and run the application. Okay, now the grid summary total table is displayed, but presently it is empty because we have not written the required JavaScripts. So we will write it soon. Please watch till the end. To add the grid summary totals and the required JavaScript functions, first go back to the source code folder and open the 18.txt file. Then as usual, select and copy all the code from there. After that, switch back to Visual Studio and in the script section of the create.cshtml, paste the copied code from the clipboard. And then open the 19.txt file from the source code folder. Select and copy all code from the 19.txt file to the clipboard. Then come back to the create.cshtml and paste the code below the getExRate function. Now open the 20.txt file and copy the setSameWidth function to the clipboard. This function will set the width for the searchable list. Then after, paste this function also to script section of the create.cshtml. Then go to the source code folder and open the 21.txt file. After that, select and copy all code from there. Actually, this function is very important one and it is little big also. But no worries, please read the complete function code. It is easy to understand. Otherwise, watch the previous part where I explained this function. Next, paste the code from the clipboard to the script section of the create.cshtml. After that, open the 22.txt file from the source code folder. Then select and copy all code to the clipboard. Actually, notice I am using the event listener of JavaScript to capture the events of the document. I have attached the code to the change event of the document. So this code will be executed for any change of value to any control of the document. Then paste the copied code from the clipboard to the script section of the create.cs HTML. Now scroll up to locate the body section of the pivot details table. In here, select and delete all columns code except the last column, because the last column is having the delete button and we don't want to remove that. Then open the 23.txt file from the source code folder. After that, select and copy all code from the 23.txt file to the clipboard. Then switch to the Visual Studio and go to the create.cs HTML, and there paste the code from the clipboard to the table body section, above the delete button.
Notice, it is showing error indicator below the total field because we have not added the total column in the PodTails model so far. So open the 24.txt file from the source code folder and copy the first two lines which contains the property name total. After that, open podtail.cs file from the models folder. Then scroll down to the bottom of the file and paste the code from the clipboard to add the total property. Please note that this total property is a not mapped property. That means there will not any column to store this value in the backend database. Then open the same file, 24.txt file from the source code folder, and copy rest of the code.
After that, open the site.css file from the CSS folder, which is inside the www root folder. And then scroll down to the bottom of the file and paste the CSS classes from the clipboard. These classes play an important role in the grid summary total calculation function. And then open the create.cs HTML from the purchase order folder. Notice I have added the amount total class attribute to the input control of the total field. Likewise, I added the price total class attribute to the input control of the price in base currency field, and also added the FOB total class to the FOB field. Lastly, added the quantity total class to the quantity field. Then scroll down to the bottom of the script section, and now open the 25.txt file from the source code folder, and then select and copy all the code to the clipboard. After that, come back to the create.cs HTML and make sure that the cursor is in the bottom of the script section. In here, paste the copied code from the clipboard. This is the function which will show and hide the searchable list box. This function is very important and it is self-explanatory. Please read 2 to 3 times. Definitely you can easily understand. After that, open the 26.txt file from the source code folder. Then copy all code from the 26.txt file to the clipboard. And now paste the copied code below the last line of the script section. After that, open the 27.txt file from the source code folder and then select and copy the code from the 27.txt file. Then come back to the create.cs HTML file and scroll up to locate the tbody tag element of the pivot details table. In here, paste the code from the clipboard below the tbody tag. After that, delete the old table body tag. Then select the pivot date input control and the label control of the pivot date and comment the selection, because we don't want the pivot date to display. We will default this property to the system date in the pivot header model file. and then select the base currency ID field and its label control and comment the selection. And now scroll down to locate the hidden div section. In here, we already added the hidden control for the pivot date and select list for the base currency ID. And then build and run the application. Okay, let's check the output. Wow, the searchable select list is working. But on changing the pivot currency, the exchange rate is not populated. So go to the source code folder and open the 28.txt file. From here, copy the first line, I mean the function caller for the onChange event. Then go back to the create.cshtml file and scroll down to locate the pivot currency field. In here, paste the onChange event code from the clipboard. Then copy the line which says id equals to txt exchange rate from the 28.txt file. This file is in the source code folder. After that, paste this id to the input control of the exchange rate property. We set id for this control to get the reference of this text box control by the JavaScript. Then only we can easily use the document.getElementById function of the JavaScript. Next, switch back to the 28.txt file. In case if you have closed, then open the 28.txt file from the source code folder. Now copy the JavaScript function getExchangeRate from the 28.txt file to the clipboard. After that, switch back to the Visual Studio 2022 and in here open the Solution Explorer window. And from the Solution Explorer window, open the Purchase Order Controller file and scroll down to the bottom of the Purchase Order Controller file. Now paste the getExchangeRate method which we copied from the 28.txt file of the source code folder. After that, come back to the source code folder and copy the last line of the 28.txt file. And then flick back to Visual Studio and open the Purchase Order Controller file. In here, locate the http get create method. And now paste the code viewback.exchangeRate equals to getExchangeRate from the clipboard. Then we will build and run the application to see the output. Let's fill the purchase order number and supplier ID fields first. This purchase order number we will make it as a auto number later. Then change the purchase order currency and notice the exchange rate text box value is getting changed respectively now. After that, enter the quotation number and select the quotation date. And then come to the detail section and enter product description as black color and notice the corresponding product code is fetched and populated to the product text box and the description is set to the description text box. And then enter the quantity and FOB. Notice on entering the FOB, the price in base currency is getting calculated and populated to the price in base currency field of the grid. So nice, isn't it? And the total value is also calculated and set to the total value text box. And then the total quantity and total value of the grid summary is also calculated and populated properly. This is one of the toughest thing in the programming, but today you know how to do that. So please like and share this video. Do you know why the YouTubers always request to like and share? Because the YouTube recommends the video to others when you like the video and share the video. The probability of getting more views are increased. So please like and share, and also don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Then add one more row and fill that row with the required details. And notice the grid summary totals of quantity and total value are calculated. These calculations will be done for any number of rows. Let's test this by adding one more row. Then in the new row, enter the item details. Notice the grid started scrolling up automatically when there is not enough space to show the searchable list box. This is very important. Initially, when I was trying to do this, I faced lot of difficulties in getting this output. After spending some good time, I found the solution and made it work. Now enter the quantity and FOB in the third row also, and notice the summary totals are calculated properly. Okay, all done. Our form is now ready for submission. Let's click the submit button to save the form. Oh, full mood off. Big flap. Some unknown error is coming. Not able to submit the form. But be strong, we will fix this issue. Actually, I spent very good time in fixing this issue. In fact, this type of errors are very difficult to fix because there is no error message, but I found the culprit. The culprit is purchase order controller. So open the purchase order controller file and scroll down to locate the get base currencies method. And in here, comment the additional list item which was added by us. I mean the default item which is having the text as select base currency. Why we should comment this? Because base currency is invisible for the user and the user cannot set the base currency. The base currency must be set in the controller itself. So please note down this correction. This is a very important correction. Okay, all set now. Let's build and run the application to test our codes. Let's fill all the required details of the purchase order header first. After that, let's enter the details to the purchase order details grid. Then let's click the create button to submit the form. Perfect, the form is saved properly now. Finally, we got the success. Yes, it is not easy to get the success. It takes lot of things like hard work, immense energy, depression, practice, insults and most of our time. But after getting the success, the memory of success journey cannot be said. We can only feel it. And then I forgot to change the table head. Notice the number of table headings does not match with the column count. So select and delete the table headers. After that, open 29.txt file from the source code folder. Then select and copy all code from the 29.txt file. After that, switch back to Visual Studio and paste the copied code to the table head section. And then open the 30.txt file from the source code and copy all code from the 30.txt file. And then go back to the create.cshtml and scroll to the top of the file. Then inside the card div, paste the code from the clipboard. After that, delete the old page header codes. And then scroll down to the script section. The JavaScript functions of this page are required in many pages like edit page, details page and even on the delete page. So it is not the best practice to keep the JavaScripts in the script section of this page. So select all the JavaScript functions and the event listener codes. I mean select all the code from the script section and cut them from here. After that, open the site.js file from the JS folder which is inside the www root folder. And now paste all the JavaScript codes which we cut from the create.cs HTML to here. Then let's build and run the application, because we have done many changes and we also moved the scripts to site.js folder. So I want to cross check is everything fine. Let's click the create button and load the purchase order creation screen. In here, let's first enter the header fields. I think there is no issue in the header section. Everything is working fine here. After that, let's enter the details to the detail grid. This is very important. So let's add 2 rows and enter details in it. Perfect. The details grid is also working fine. So the purchase order creation module is working fine, even after moving the scripts to the site.js folder. And now let's try to save it by clicking the create button. Wow, the purchase order is saved properly. But if we want to view the purchase order, we cannot, because we have not created the details page. So let's do the details page. And then select the purchase order folder from the views folder. Then right click on the purchase order folder and click add menu and select the view submenu. And in here select the first option, I mean click the item with the text as razor view empty. Then click the add button. And in here give the file name as details.cshtml. Next click add and wait for the scaffolding task to complete. After that, go to the source code folder. From there open the 31.txt file and then select all the code and copy it to the clipboard. After that, go back to the details.cshtml and paste all the code from the clipboard to here. Then go to the source code folder and open the 32.txt file and copy all code from there. After that, expand the controllers folder and open the purchase order controller from there. Then scroll down to the bottom of the purchase order controller file and paste the code there. After that, let's build and run the application. Then open the purchase order listing screen and click the details link for the first row. Perfect. The purchase order details screen is loaded successfully and it is looking very nice, isn't it? Let's click the back button and open another item in the details screen. Perfect. This is also loaded properly. So the detail section is working fine. So far we have completed create, index and the details action. Let's do the edit and delete actions now. Then open the 33.txt file from the source code folder and in here select and copy the first line which says public string get new PO number. After that, open the iPurchaseOrder.cs file from the interfaces folder and paste the get new PO number method declaration there. And then go back to the source code folder and copy complete code of the get new PO number method to the clipboard. And next open the purchase order repository file and scroll to the bottom of the file. Now paste the code of the get new PO number method from the clipboard. After that, go to the source code folder and open the 33.txt file in the notepad. And in here select and copy the last before line which says item.po number equals to report.getNewPO number to the clipboard. Then go back to the purchase order controller file and select and locate the create action method. Then paste the code from the clipboard in the createAction method. After that, switch back to the 33.txt file from the source code folder. And in here, select and copy the last line which says read only. Then switch back to our project which is on the Visual Studio screen, and in here expand the views folder, and inside the views folder expand the purchase order folder, and then open the create.cshtml from there. Then after, scroll to the top of the file till you find the line which contains the input control for the PO number property. And there paste the code from the clipboard. After that, build and run the application. And in here, let's click the create link, and notice the PO number is converted to auto number and also made as read only field. So now let's do the edit and delete module. Now let's stop the application and go to the source code folder. After that, close the 33.txt file and open the 34.txt file in the notepad. And in here, select and copy the edit method to the clipboard. After that, switch back to Visual Studio and open the purchase order repository file. And in here, scroll up to find the default edit method implementation. After finding it, delete that and paste the edit method implementation from the clipboard. Next, go back to the 34.txt file from the source code and copy the remaining three methods to the clipboard. I mean the methods named getUnitNames and editAction methods. Then switch back to the Visual Studio and open the purchase order controller file from the controllers folder. After opening the purchase order controller file, scroll down to the bottom of the file. And in here, paste all the code from the clipboard. I mean, paste codes of getUnitNames method and the two editAction methods. Then find and select the purchase order folder in the Solution Explorer. Then right click and select the add menu followed by the submenu named view. After that, select the item named as Reza View Empty and click the add button. Then give the name of the file as edit.cshtml and press the add button. Then go back to the source code folder and open the 35.txt file from there. After that, select and copy all code from 35.txt file to the clipboard memory. And then switch back to the Visual Studio and paste the code from the clipboard to the edit.cshtml. Then build and run the application. Now let's open the second record in the edit mode. The record is now opened on the edit mode, but the total is not calculated in the line item, and also the description is missing in the line item, and then the grid summary totals are also missing. Let's try to change the quantity. Wow, after changing the quantity, the summary totals and the line item totals are calculated. So now the only issue is description field. No worries, we will fix all the errors. Then let's try saving the record. Perfect, the record is saved successfully. Let's open the same record again in the edit mode. Oh no, getting the alert now. It's supposed to come after completing the edit action, but it is coming when we try to open the record in the edit action. This is also a bug. We will fix this issue also. But the modification which we did for the quantity field was updated correctly. So our edit action is working fine. Only some issues in the edit.cs HTML. To fix the issues, let's stop the application and then go to the source code folder and close all the open files from there. Then after, open the 36.txt file from the source code folder and select and copy the first 3 lines to the clipboard. After that, switch back to the edit.cs HTML and scroll down to the script section and paste the script from the clipboard. Then after, go back to the 35.txt file and then select and copy the getItem method to the clipboard. After that, open the purchase order repository file from the repositories folder. Then find and delete the old getItem method from the purchase order repository file. And now paste the new getItem method from the clipboard. After that, save and run the application. Let's open the second record in the edit mode. Perfect. This time the description is coming properly and line item total and the summary totals are also calculated properly. So we are done with the edit module. The last one is delete module, and after that we will add the search and sort options to the purchase order listing screen. Then stop the application. Now we will do the delete module. Go to the source code folder and open the 37.txt file from there. From there, select and copy the first delete method to the clipboard. After that, open the purchase order repository file and scroll up to find the delete method. After finding the old delete method, remove it and paste the new delete method from the clipboard. And then switch back to the 37.txt file of the source code directory. From there, select and copy the second and third delete method to the clipboard from the 37.txt file. Then switch back to Visual Studio and open the purchase order controller file, and there scroll to the bottom of the file. And now paste the codes from the clipboard to here. Next, close the 37.txt file and then open the 38.txt file from the source code folder. From the 38.txt file, select and copy all code to the clipboard. After that, switch back to Visual Studio and select the purchase order folder from the views folder. And then right click and select the add menu followed by the view submenu. Then select Razor view empty and press the add button. And here give the file name as delete.cs HTML and press the add button. After that, paste the code from the clipboard to the empty delete.cs HTML file. Then save and run the application. Let's open the second record in the delete mode. Perfect. The delete screen is looking very good and all the totals are calculated properly. Let's click the back button to go back to the listing screen. Now let's open the first record in the delete mode. Yes, it got opened correctly, so no issues in the delete screen. Next, let's open the third record in the delete screen and try to delete the record permanently. Perfect, the record got deleted properly. Notice the pivot number 15 is missing because we deleted it. But why we did not receive any alert? Some issues. We will look into that. Let's open one more record in the delete mode. Oh no, now we are getting the alert message. Same issue happened in edit screen also. But no worries, we will not finish the video without completing all the issues, because with this we must complete the purchase order module. Lot of things are in the pipeline and I will try my best to speed up things. I really wanted to teach a lot to you guys. Then next we will beautify the index page. So stop the application and close the 38.txt file and then open the 39.txt file from the source code folder. Then select and copy all the code of the 39.txt file to the clipboard. After that, switch back to Visual Studio and open the index.cs HTML from the views folder and then delete all the old code from the index.cs HTML. Then paste the new code from the clipboard to the index.cs HTML. After that, save and run the application. Let's click the purchase order menu from the transactions. Wow, now the purchase order screen is beautified. We can see the search button and sorting icons, and we can also see the pagination bars. Let's check the pagination bars. Yes, it is working fine. And then let's click the create button. Yes, the create screen is also loading fine. Then we will click the edit button. Wow, the edit screen also loaded properly. And then we will make some changes to the quantity and quotation number. After that, we will press the edit button to update the changes back to the database. Perfect. Now we are getting the alert after the edit. So now almost all errors are fixed and the complete source code is shared with the steps. So please don't put comments like no source code, broken links, etc. Actually, I am trying to keep this channel as a win-win mode, so that when you watch the complete video, you gain something and I also gain something. Then let's test the delete mode also. So open the record in the delete mode and press the delete button to delete the record. Wow, now the alert is coming properly for the delete action also. With this, I am completing this video. Before I sign off, I request you to subscribe and share this video. I would appreciate if you would like and subscribe to this channel so that you will be notified for all of the new videos that I will be posting. Thank you and bye for now.